The animal kingdom is fierce and governed by one rule: survival of the fittest. When two top predators go head to head, the result can be spectacular, albeit terrifying at times. These 5 craziest animal fights caught on camera and spotted in real life are sure to impress and amaze you. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Lion versus Tiger. Both of these contenders are masters of their domains and can really throw down when they need to. This is probably one of the most impressive fights that can happen between two land-based predators, at least as far as we're concerned, and we managed to find incredible footage of a full-on battle between these two ferocious hunters just for you. Both lions and tigers hunt predominantly at nighttime, so it should come as no surprise that this fight happened in the dark. Even though the lion is much larger than the tiger, the match is pretty even throughout. The tiger's agility is definitely a benefit here, and it also seems to have more stamina than the bulky lion. After a brief tussle, they separate and play a game of cat and mouse, if you will, before diving back into it again. The lion does seem to do more of the chasing, with the tiger dancing circles around its rival and climbing out of range from time to time. During round 2, the lion shows its real strength and manages to remain dominant. The tiger, however, is one hell of a tough competitor and does a good job landing some solid hits and remaining mobile. At around the halfway point, the tiger regains its momentum and manages to pin the larger cat multiple times. Its adapted strategy involving attacking from behind and clawing the lion's back seems to be a winning combination. Round 2 ends with both fighters taking a break and regaining their composure, before the lion suddenly leaps at the tiger as it rests on its side, signaling the start of round 3. Once again, the two cats go at it, with the lion eventually managing to strike a final blow to the side of the tiger's head. This knockout punch sends the tiger to the ground, this time for good. The really disturbing part about this video comes at the end. After the lion takes the tiger down, it doesn't actually land a killing blow, but just walks around. Later, we see the tiger getting dragged up the bank by a rope, making it clear that this was potentially a staged pit fight put on for the sake of people. Then again, it could just be that researchers decided to study the tiger's body or try to nurse it back to health after its brutal ordeal. Unfortunately, we haven't yet been able to find out which of these two possibilities actually played out, but we hope that this confrontation was a natural fight between two wild animals and not just entertainment for some seriously twisted individuals. Number 4. Snake versus Gecko. Our next match is definitely a natural one and actually seems surprisingly fair. Both fighters are able to get the upper hand on their opponent, and well, anything can happen when the two meet in close quarters combat. If you look closely, you can see that the gecko has already lost its tail, probably during a previous fight, marking it as a deadly scrapper despite its small size. It's also got some incredible tricks up its sleeve and knows how to take advantage of the snake's weaknesses. You can clearly see this ingenuity at work when it leaps onto the snake's back and rides it around like a rodeo bull. The snake, in turn, tries desperately to shake it, but has a hard time moving around with all that bulk attached. It may look like a fun ride, but it's really a life and death struggle to the bitter end, with the gecko using its sticky feet to hold on for dear life. Its next tactic is to bite the snake's lower jaw, preventing it from being able to land a solid bite or actually eat him. The snake, in turn, has only one move, and that's to repeatedly try to bite the gecko. Its hope is that the gecko will eventually bleed out and succumb to its toxic venom before the snake is too tired to continue. This venom actually thins out the blood, shortening the time it takes for its victims to bleed out. Unfortunately for the snake, the gecko is able to shut blood flow off to certain parts of its body to a certain extent, limiting the amount of blood loss over time. It's also seen using its padded sticky feet to hold itself firmly in place while the snake tries to dislodge it and drag it away. Eventually, the gecko's vice grip on the snake's jaw is too much for its opponent to bear, and its attacker lets go, slithering off into the jungle. The gecko, in the meantime, was very close to losing the fight. Their oxygen supply isn't enough to maintain that level of activity, as well as constrict its blood vessels enough to put up a struggle like that for too long. After a brief but intense bout, they both end up separating, with the more peaceful gecko retreating to a safe distance to properly recover after its deadly ordeal. We're sure that's not the last time it'll have to defend itself in such a grave situation, but that's the way things are when you're as far down the food chain as these two fighters are. Number 3. Cat versus Alligator. House cats can be quite intimidating when they're provoked, and many of us know just how quick their reflexes can be. While some cats choose to terrorize people with their specialty skill set, others choose to be protectors of mankind. The cat in this video is definitely of the latter persuasion, defending its territory and human friends like a boss. While the people in the area don't seem all that worried, probably because of the gator's smallish size, it's still a fairly dangerous situation to be in. If that gator were to sneak up on an unsuspecting person or pet, it would undoubtedly try to make off with a quick meal. That's where our guard cat comes in. Realizing that the gator isn't supposed to be there and poses a threat, the cat jumps into action and starts actively pestering the predator. The two stare each other down for a long time, with the cat refusing to